let's actually write a function to find the length of a line segment given the two endpoints. Now, I've included the math.h header file here because we need the square root as well as the pow functions, right, from that header file. Now, the length of a straight line should technically be a double, right? Remember, these doubles are really nice for scientific calculation. We could say double, and let's call the function length. Or we can call it whatever we want, really. Of course, once it's within certain guidelines in terms of naming, right? The values that we're going to pass in, we're going to say double. We're going to call it x1. We're going to pass in y1, x1, y1. So that will be the coordinates for the first point, and then we'll have a x2 as well as a y2. Right? And we want to return, well, the calculation, right? The calculated value. So we're going to use sqrt, right? Which is the square root function. And remember, it's the square root of the sum of the squares of the differences of the x's and y's. So we will do, remember, we have to do x1 minus the y, sorry, x2. What am I thinking? Right? x1 minus x2, right? We have to square it. Notice this pow function basically accepts two values, right? The base, which is the thing that we're going to raise to the power, as well as the power. So we're going to raise x1 minus x2 to the power of 2. Then we're going to say plus pow. We're going to do the same for the y's, right? So y1 minus y2, of course, raised to the power of 2. And then we're going to take the square root of all of that, right? Square root of that sum of the squares, right? And we could actually put x2 minus x1 as well as y2 minus y1. That would technically be the more common version, right? Although the order of the points doesn't actually matter because the square will ultimately change any negatives to positive. So you can say printf, and we're not going to call our function. We're going to say the length of the line segment with end points. Let's say 1, 2, and 3, 4 is, say, percent. We're going to say G because that's the placeholder for doubles. And we're going to say length. And we need to pass in x1, y1, x2, y2 respectively. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can say units. Right, so when we compile and run, the length of the line segment with the endpoints 1, 2, and 3, 4 is 2.828843 units. Or you can verify it with your calculator.